Hey superstars, Gavin speaks, and I'm going to teach you how to manifest a man and keep him long-term, how to have a long-term relationship, how to manifest a long-term relationship. The challenge that we have nowadays, especially with women, is finding a good man that you can be with long-term. And so I want to share with you some things that you might not know about manifesting a relationship, which will dramatically change your perspective. I'm going to share with you my opinions and some facts. I'm going to share with you my perspective based on being a man, how to become the woman that the man actually wants, because a lot of women think they can just keep a man without having certain traits. And relationships fail these days because of the missing dynamics that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. Unfortunately, 50 to 55% of marriages end in divorce, right? The average relationship lasts around 2.5 years, right? That's including people who get married too. These days, we believe in, someone just, being themselves, right? I'm just gonna be myself in the relationship, and then we expect it to work. Now, to a certain degree, I believe that, but a lot of us are out of touch with our divine balance. And what I mean by that is a male usually is leaning towards the masculine balance, and a female is usually leaning to a feminine balance. All right, that's not to say that the woman doesn't have any masculine energy in her, or she can't have any masculine energy in her, and that's not to say the guy can't have any feminine energy within him. And what we got to realize is actually there's like toxic masculinity, but there's also toxic femininity as well. The first thing I want to bring up, the second thing I want to bring up, the third thing I want to bring up, the stuff that I want to bring up right here is quite deep, and it might trigger certain things within you, and you'll feel free to share your opinions below. But from what I'm, make sure that what you share has statistics. It's not an anecdotal experience, right? I want to see facts, I want to see numbers, and I want to see the truth of what it actually is, because too many people focus on hocus pocus, woo woo. Oh, this person was able to achieve this in their relationship and they was doing this and this and that, or whatever. Yeah, that's an anecdotal experience, right? But if we look at the overall picture, right, and we look at relationships as a whole, right, a lot of them don't work and a lot of them do fail. And so what can we do about that? All right, so I posted on my community tab, I asked the question to single women. Okay, and so if you can hear noise in the background, dog barking, banging and stuff like that, I'm just in an area right now where they're doing some building work. So I'm gonna bring it up on my phone right now, this question that I asked women. And the question that I asked, I'll put it on screen right now, is what kind of man do you want to manifest if you only had these 3 options? All right, and I'm gonna break down this question for you because I wrote it out specifically in a way to actually manifest your ideal mate, right? Choosing to stay single is not an option, right? Choosing to stay single is not an option. There's a reason why I wrote that as well. And none of them are willing to change their lifestyles. Which one would you choose, right? Would you choose a guy who's got 6 figures, he's fit, he's spiritual, no marriage, wants kids? That's guy number 1. Guy number 2, an average body, right? He's making 55K per year. He's not spiritual, but he wants marriage and he wants kids? Or do you want a guy with a big belly, 35K per year, no ambition, spiritual, wants kids and marriage? Now, some people took offense to what I was writing here. And I think it's because I put like the fit person at 6 figures, the big belly at 35K. But for me personally, I know I have a lot of experience around people who make money and have success. Usually they're not, slim, fit people. Sometimes they're overweight or whatever, right? So, and I know this, but some people got offended by it. And again, some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you in the video might trigger you, all right? But as a woman, if you want to attract a man, please listen to what men actually want, because that's how you're going to manifest the man and keep him. Because you have your wants and needs, you have your it, you have things you don't like that you do like, or whatever it is. Guys have the same thing too. And when we speak about it, unfortunately, a lot of women do not listen to what we want. You think it's misogyny or body shaming or it's toxic masculinity and all of these labels that you put on it to shame us and make us feel bad about what we want. This is what we literally desire as a core thing, not some weird desire. It's like literally what we desire as men. all right? So the first part of the question is, what kind of man do you want to manifest if you only had these 3 options? The reason why I did that is because we have an overinflated amount of options when it comes to Tinder, Bumble, Instagram, DMs, Hinge, all of it. We got an inflated amount of options. If we go back in the day, right, and we look at the options that women had, they only had the options that's in their circumference, in their area, right? They only had these options, right? And so when they found that man, you know, and they manifested that man into their life, now they have a great amount of appreciation, right? They have a great amount of appreciation. There's a certain level of energy and respect that they bring into the relationship. Whereas now you can find a man really easy, all right? And when you find a good one, usually there's not that same level of appreciation, because you can just find another one. Does that make sense? I hope you can understand what I'm talking about here. If there's a scarce amount, right? If there's a scarce amount of men and options to choose from, when you find a good one, you're going to treat the relationship way different. You're going to respect him differently, and you're going to provide a different type of energy to that specific man. Does that make sense? And so behavior within the relationship now is approached differently. Okay, that's why I put 3 options, right? And also the fact that there's an overinflated amount of options, and it shouldn't be like that. The way the brain works, it should not be like that, right? If you go to, you know, a restaurant, there's a menu, right? And the menu is crazy. There's so many different options, right? There's pages and pages and pages and pages. And let's just say, for example, there was 50 pages of options. Would you know what to order on that menu? No, you'll just be confused. You'll be overwhelmed. You won't even know what to choose from. Does that make sense? Whereas if it's just like one page, okay, we've got this, 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 and this, now it's easier. You know, it's like when you go to those, those tortilla restaurants where, you know, you get the burrito or whatever, right? It's just like, okay, we got this, 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 and this. Here's your options, this, 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 and this, and this. And then you can choose as you go along, right? And then you get it wrapped up, and then boom, you're gone, right? It's very easy, very simple for the mind to go ahead and see visually and get it done, right? When it comes to dating, swiping left, swiping right, swiping right, you know, your mind's focused on the prize. Your mind's focused on this dopamine release of this great, you know, prince, you know, this fairy tale guy that's going to show up in your life and woo you away, right? You're lowering your options when you do things like that, all right? And we're going to discuss that a little bit more towards the end of this video. Okay, choosing to stay single is not an option. The reason why is women above 35 years old, right, have these days, statistically, it's proven that these are the most unhappy women of all time. All right, single women over the age of 35 are the most unhappiest women of all time, right? And that's not by accident. Women are nurturers, right? You're biologically designed to nurture. Okay, biologically designed to nurture. Maybe your mindset's drifted away from that because of a career, because you're a boss babe, and you know, you're making the money, you went to college, you studied all this stuff, right? Maybe your mindset's moved away from that, and there's nothing wrong with you, you know, getting an education, you know, going out and working in the world, but it creates this masculine energy within you, and that is unattractive to Sigma and Alpha men. Right? Maybe not beta men, maybe not beta males, but Sigma and Alpha men. Sigma and Alpha are kind of the same. Sigma males are a little bit more tapped into their emotion. They're a little bit more intelligent than the Alpha male. All right. To these men, you got to be in your feminine energy. If you bring in a masculine energy to the relationship, he's not going to be happy, and he may end up cheating or leaving or just saying nothing and then dealing with it, and then you're not happy, and then it's just this back and forth, and he's not communicating and all this stuff. And because he's trying to tell you, a lot of men will try and tell you what they need, but unfortunately, from my personal experience, women do not listen, and they don't listen to understand. They just listen to hear one ear, one out the other, and they don't actually understand that we have needs and wants and desires too, like, and their actual needs. Okay, because we just say it. We just say it like as like a normal thing. We don't get upset about it. We just make it simple. Say, hey, I want this, right? And that's it. We don't. Whereas with women, they will like explain it a little bit more deeply, a little bit more emotion behind it, and it's like intensity, you know. Sometimes, some cases, right? So basically, women, you know, these days are the most unhappy women. Okay, literally because they're not able to get married, have children, build a family. Okay, for the most part, all right? And so they focus on their career. And I'm not saying all women are like this. I'm saying the majority of women are like this, all right? So that's why I worded it this way. Also, these men are not willing to change their lifestyles, because a lot of you women out here, right, you're gonna get into manifesting a build-a-boo, right? You want to build a boo, you want to build a guy, like you want to, you're falling in love with potential rather than falling in love with a guy that you actually want, right? And so with that, there's a little bit of a gamble. All right. Anyway, I can make more videos on this, by the way. And if you want me to make more videos on this, please comment below and let me know what you thought about this video and stuff. It really does help me, because this is a topic that I've been studying for a long time now, and I'm just starting to open up to starting to talk about it and sharing my experiences as a man, in manifesting relationships. All right, so none of these men are willing to change their lifestyle, meaning you're gonna fall in love with him and never gonna try and change him, or never gonna try and make him improve, or this is who he's gonna be for the rest of your life. Okay, most women, a lot of women, they will fall in love with potential, and then the man's not changing to the vision that you have of him in your head. All right, so if I put the screenshot back up on screen right now, all right, the first guy is fit, 6 figures, spiritual, no marriage, wants kids, right? Second guy, average body, 55K per year, not spiritual, but wants marriage and kids. The first guy, big belly, 35K per year, no ambition, spiritual, wants kids and marriage, right? And as you can see here, this is a spiritual niche, right? This is a spiritual niche, right? Women who are a little bit more conscious and stuff like that. You want a guy who's fit, 6 figures, spiritual, no marriage, wants kids, all right? And 84% of you said that that's what you want, right? Now, I want to break it down for you, okay? So you can understand how to manifest a guy and why it's so hard and challenging to manifest a guy these days, all right? So if we're talking about this guy, right? I know it's like a scenario. It's not necessarily, it's just an example, right? But I just want to share with you to help you understand what it takes to manifest a man that you actually want, okay? Because women don't get, when you create this big list of requirements or needs or wants or desires that you want in your man, you are reducing your options dramatically, like hugely, okay? And this specific guy is a very, very, very rare type of guy. I'm talking less than 10% of the population, all right? For example, if we just go to 6 figures alone, around 7-8% of the United States population earn 6 figures or more, okay? Around 6, 7, 8%, right? Around that area. And so that's men and women and non-binary and, gender fluid or whatever, right? That is the number, the whole population, right? So now if we reduce that down to men, right? What is the number? Is it 3%, right? Is it 5%? Is it 4%, right? So can you see just the number, the income, okay? And some of you ladies might say, just because you're spiritual and all this stuff and you're in tune, that you don't care about the money. Trust me, you're gonna care about the money later on down the line, right? Because it's gonna cause problems within your relationship. The number one reason for divorce is money, all right? He's got to be earning money. He's got to be going out and hunting, and women desire a masculine male to go out and do his job, right? When he doesn't do that, it's unattractive to you. No woman wants a bum, or most women don't want a bum, right? So we got to realize this, okay? So if you want a guy that earns 6 figures, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a spiritual thing. It's more of a core feminine desire to have that, because it creates security. It creates being taken care of. It creates a sense of empowerment for you to just let your hair down. Not that you need empowerment from men, because you can go make your own 6 figures, but it kind of lets you just be in your feminine and let your hair down in a way, if that makes sense. All right. So again, let's say it's like 5% of the population. Okay. You want him to be spiritual too. Now you've reduced that number down significantly. Can you see how this works? Now you want him to be black. Now you want him to be white. Now you want him to be Asian, right? You've reduced your options down, especially if it's black, right? There's a very minute population that is black and six figures, right? So can you see where I'm going with this, right? And so you're like, where's this guy? Where's all the good men gone? Where's all this? Where's all that? Okay. just from going and changing it to spirituality, or even his height, right? If he needs to be 6 foot or more, I think, I can't remember the exact number. Let me just look this up. Wow, I just looked this up just now, and I'm gonna put a screenshot right here. In the US population, about 14.5% of all men are over 6 foot, right? Among CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, that number is 58%. So it makes sense why you want a tall guy, why you want someone to be a certain height, right? Number one, a lot of women say this: it makes me feel small. I want to feel small. I want to feel like you can pick me up. I hear it a lot, right? That's why you want a taller guy, right? You don't want to be the same height, or like you don't want him to be shorter than you, right? But what's interesting is the CEOs, which is a lot, CEOs is usually a lot of money, right? 58% of those men, right? So within the 14%, 58% of those are CEOs. That's crazy, all right? So these tall men that you want to manifest, right, at 6 foot, it's only 14% of the population, okay? So your options are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, okay? And guess what? You're competing with all other women for this guy, because most women want these guys in this category. If he's got 6 figures, he's earning good money, he's healthy, he's fit, he's spiritual, all women are competing for these same guys. It's a small select group of men. Does that make sense? All right. And so these guys usually are going to be men that cheat, unfortunately. They're not going to be men who necessarily you're going to be able to like hold down and keep long term, because there's so many women coming at them. Does that make sense? And so now it's making it even more difficult, because you have to find one of those guys that's actually faithful. Okay, and so I'm making it sound like, Gavin, like, oh, my dreams are shattered when it comes to manifesting my relationship, and I totally understand. But guess what? All you have to do is figure out, what do these men actually want, and can you be that man, woman for him? Okay, obviously he's going to be a certain man for you. He needs to bring a certain energy, a certain vibe, certain criteria that you want within a relationship. But more importantly, because this guy is rare, what are you bringing, right? What are you bringing in order to manifest this man and actually keep him, right? So I'm going to tell you like what this guy actually wants, right? I'm going to tell you what he wants, so that you can manifest him and be in the energy and the vibration of that. Okay, the first thing to manifest this type of guy is you need to be feminine. Okay, the first thing is you need to be feminine, right? If you're in your masculine, there's no chance you're going to keep this guy long term. You might be able to manifest him in the beginning, right? Maybe you're dating for a while, or maybe it's just sex or whatever it is. But to keep him, he's not going to want the masculinity. He's not going to want the, one of the most unattractive thing to men is the voice of you nitpicking and, bringing a masculine dynamic and like a raw, bossy energy. We don't like it at all. It's unattractive. It's repulsive to us. Just like you're repulsed by certain things in men, just like you've got icks with men have icks too. And unfortunately, we talk about it, but I don't think you interpret it as the same way. Like, and so there's certain things that turn you off with men, and we got to understand there's certain things that turn us off too. And one of those is the voice, right? And just being able to communicate in a feminine tone and not talking down to us, not using any names, which is kind of obvious, right? We want a feminine woman that we can take care of, all right? And or to feel like we can take care of, that she doesn't have to worry about anything. And that's not to say don't work. I'm not saying don't work. You can go out and work and do all this stuff. Just don't bring that energy home. Don't bring that masculine energy home. You can be masculine at work and do all that stuff and be the boss or whatever. But when it comes to the household, right? When it comes down to a long-term relationship, when it comes down to marriage, I don't want to deal with another man, right? I don't want to deal with another man. I want to deal with a woman, right? I want to deal with feminine energy, right? Now, your biology, you have oxytocin, right? Which is the connection hormone, and you have estrogen, right? These two particular hormones, you have way more of it in your body than a guy. A guy mainly has testosterone, right? We have oxytocin, but in very small amounts, and it doesn't last as long in our body, right? So women are literally designed to connect with others, right? You are literally designed to do that and feel that connection very quickly and build that bond and want to connect with him in that way and all of this stuff. Men, we have oxytocin, but the connection feeling goes a lot quicker. We feel it the most, by the way, through sex. Okay. This is why men like sex so much, but also testosterone, right? There was a woman, right, that accidentally got testosterone on her arm, a testosterone cream on her arm, right? And so now it's being absorbed into the bloodstream, right? And now she's got a ton of testosterone in her body. Guess what happened? All of a sudden, she wants to smash. She wants to have sex with literally every guy that she's walking past, right? Women do not understand testosterone, and how hard it is for men and why we want sex so much, okay? And so that's our way of connecting. That's when we get that oxytocin. That's when we feel connected to you, okay? And that's not to say you got to give it up all the time, and sometimes you're not going to be in the mood, and that's fine, but understand that's one of our core needs. All right, just saying, this is why men are the way that they are, right? At the same time, men, if you're watching this right now, women need the other form of connection, which is communication, talking, right? Talking about your emotions sometimes. Don't give up too much when it comes to emotions. They say they want to feel your emotional side. He's not emotionally available. Don't get too emotional with women, all right? It's not masculine. And eventually they will become unattracted to it. They might say they'll be attracted, but unfortunately, if you do it too much, they will become unattracted. Where are we going with this? Okay, going back to the whole connection thing, right? Nurturing, right? Feminine energy, nurturing, right? Nurturing. You gotta be nurturing, feminine, right? What else are these guys looking for? Okay, so I kind of explained it, sex, nurturing, feminine. Okay, it's kind of all tying in there. Peace, he wants peace, right? Again, it comes back to this, right? Peace, you need to bring him peace, right? And that's not to say you're not allowed to ask him for anything, or let's say, there's a broken shelf and you're like, hey, go fix that shelf. Can you fix this shelf for me, right? That's all that stuff, asking him for stuff, whatever it is okay. But if he's coming home and there's a lot of stress and there's no peace and you're adding more stress to his life, he doesn't like that, okay? He wants to feel at peace. And I'm sure you do too, right? It's just that men value it a lot, okay? They want peace of mind, all right? He wants you to also think ahead for him specifically, okay? Not for necessarily the family as a whole or the relationship as a whole. Like, for example, let's say, he's going on a business trip, right? Instead of him booking his flights and arranging the hotel, you take the time to go out, book the hotel, this and that, whatever. Let's say you're in a dating phase, right? You meet a guy, right? And you really like him and you think he likes you and you're into each other, right? And I'm just going to give you two scenarios. First scenario is, you have sex, you sleep with him or whatever, you wake up the next morning and you start talking, right? Start talking, having a good conversation, whatever it is. Again, that's not men's form of connection. Talking and communicating and stuff like that. We don't feel it the same way you feel it, right? Would rather be quiet. I know it sounds weird, but we would rather have quietness. And I'm not saying to be quiet, by the way. I like to connect with women through talking, but there's a certain limit where I've reached my threshold where I don't want to talk anymore. Whereas women can talk, right? And so That's for the girls, right? That's for your girlfriends, right? When you're just talking. Guys, we don't care, especially someone who's Sigma Alpha, we don't care about talking as much, right? That's why you ask us how our day was. We're like, yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was good, right? That's it. You know, we don't talk about it. We don't say, oh, you know, if you ask a woman the same question, they'll tell you about this. Cindy did this and this, right? It's just like a lot of stuff that comes up, right? When you ask a woman, how was your day, right? Does that make sense? So can you see the difference, right? And so, you know, scenario number 2, right? You have sex, you wake up the next day, right? And you get out of bed before him, right? And you go to Starbucks to bring him some coffee, and you see some of his papers are like messed up, and then you just organize his papers and make them straight, right? And put his pen on top or whatever. Maybe you just do that, or maybe you will wake up in the morning, make him breakfast, you know? Or maybe, you know, the clothes are messed up on the floor or whatever, you clean up the clothes, like when a guy, like for a guy, it's just like, what? Like, no one does this, right? Let's say, let me give you another example, right? A guy takes you out on a date, right? And, you know, you have a fun day and all this stuff, right? No, actually, let me give you a different example, right? A guy invites you over, right? Makes you dinner, right? Cooks for you all this stuff, right? Makes it romantic or whatever, and you have a good time, right? And you're really enjoying him, right? You're like, and you go out and say, hey, you know, I really enjoyed this time with you. Like, I want to take you out for some ice cream. Let's go for some ice cream. Let's go get some donuts. Let's go get some ice cream. I'm paying. You say it up front, like, I'm paying, right? You're taking me out. Like, when men don't hear that a lot, right? Men don't hear that a lot, right? It's always us doing stuff for you, always, right? And a lot of the time, women too much emphasis on the sex side. Yes, that's our form of connection, but we can get sex from anywhere. There's pornography, there's not that spiritual people, you know, go for prostitutes or anything like that. There's things like the strip club, there's so many. There's also self-love as well. Like, men have a lot of testosterone. So the sex part, yeah, it's like, you know, good, but then if you're adding that extra value on top of it, where you're like, hey, like, you cooked for me, I really enjoyed the food, blah, blah, blah. I'm taking you out for ice cream right now, right? I'm taking you out to go get some donuts, or, you know, I'm paying, right? It feels good to us that you are appreciating us. Appreciation needs to be shown through action, not your words, okay? This is very powerful stuff, right? So that's how you keep him, is doing things like that, right? How can you think ahead of time, right? So far I've said nurturing, feminine, sex, think ahead of time, right? Try and reduce his stress, not add more stress to his life. And one of the other things is youthfulness, right? You want to maintain your youthfulness, like staying healthy and staying fit, all right? That's going to help and assist, especially if you're, you know, going into your late 20s, 30s, 40s. You want to be keeping fit, you want to be exercising, all right? And this is for single women specifically, right? And I'm not saying to even stop that when you get with him and you want to get with him and you want him to stay around and be attracted to you. You want to stay fit and healthy, right? Whether that's a dance class, a salsa class, walking, exercising, yoga, getting the exercise and taking care of your health. It's very, very, very important. For me personally, it's very, very attractive too. Okay, because it's like you have this discipline about you. It's like when I see like a before and after picture, the woman can be like, you know, severely obese or overweight, and then she's slimmed down. Like, to me, it's just really attractive, not because of the body change, but the mindset. Because it's like you got resilience for the relationship, you got resilience for me. Do you know what I mean? It's not that, you're just gonna leave when you find the next guy, you're not gonna just, you know what I mean? It's like you see the transformation, it's inspiring, and it inspires me to want to exercise too, take care of my body and be attractive for you too. Now, I suggest being attractive for yourself first and then being attractive for others after. But overall, in general, this particular being fit is very, very important to manifest the man and keep him. All right. Okay, so I shared a lot of things in this video, and there's a lot more for me to talk about. Share your questions below. That way I can make more videos on the topic and discuss it a little bit more, because there's only so much I can say within a video without it turning out to be 2 hours, 3 hours long. All right. And so some of the things I said might trigger or make you feel some type of way or whatever it is. And if that's the case, that's okay. Please share it below, and then I can explain it in more detail. Please, no attacks here. Again, it's a shame that I have to even say this, right? It's a shame that I have to even say this, because that again is masculine energy, right? And that's what men do not like, right? What you want to do is ask me a question like, what did you mean by this part in the video? Okay, rather than assuming and making presuppositions on what I'm saying, okay? Because there's only so much that I can articulate myself, right? This is not a conversation where like I can like talk back and forth with you, right? It's a video that I only get to say once, and then it's out there, and then you make your own interpretation of it, and then it might be the wrong interpretation, and you're making all these fun things up in your head and being triggered, when actually you can just ask me, right? Because I have good intentions, and this whole video is about you manifesting a relationship and keeping him long term. So overall, this video is about understanding that these men are a very, very small part of the population, and you need to be a certain woman in order to attract that guy and keep him. Maybe to attract him and get sex, have sex and like date for a while, but to attract him, keep him and sustain him, get married long term, he's looking for something completely different, because he's got a lot of options to choose from, because a lot of women are after these kinds of men. Okay, so does that make sense? All right, now I've helped a lot of women manifest relationships, twin flames relationships, help them with their mindset around exercising and all this stuff, helping them embrace their feminine nature and all that stuff. And it all starts with the free energy reading and the manifestation diagnosis session, which you can get in the link in the description, or you can go to alchemyenergyreading.com. All right, so go ahead and check that out. You can check out my previous video over here, and you can check out my 3-part series on how to raise your vibration over here. All right, and remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.